I asked my daughter-in-law when the wedding was, and what she said next shattered me. I thought I was preparing for a celebration, but I never expected this kind of surprise. Welcome to the channel, everyone. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this story if it touches your heart. Now, let me tell you something that changed my life forever. It all started one quiet Sunday morning. I was sitting in my garden, sipping my coffee, thinking about how fast time flies. My son, Daniel, had been dating this lovely young woman named Mia for almost 3 years. I adored her. She was polite, graceful, and always made Daniel smile in a way I hadn't seen since he was a child. I used to tease him, saying that Mia was the best decision he ever made. They were perfect together, or at least that's what I believed. A few months earlier, Daniel had told me they were thinking about getting married soon. He said they wanted to do something simple, maybe just a small ceremony with close friends and family. I was thrilled. As a mother, I'd always dreamed of helping my son plan his wedding, choosing the flowers, the cake, the music. It was going to be beautiful. But time passed, and no one mentioned the wedding again. I tried not to ask too many questions, thinking they were still planning or saving money. I didn't want to be that over-involved mom who pressured her kids. Still, I couldn't help but feel curious. Every time I saw them, I wanted to ask, "So, when's the big day?" But something in their tone, or the way they looked at each other, made me hold back. Then came that one fateful day. Daniel called me, saying he and Mia were coming over for dinner. I was so excited. I cooked his favorite meal, roasted chicken with garlic butter, mashed potatoes, and a side of green beans. I even baked a chocolate cake because that was Mia's favorite dessert. Everything felt warm and full of love, just the way family dinners should be. When they arrived, they looked different. Daniel seemed nervous, and Mia was unusually quiet. I greeted them with hugs, but I could feel something was off. During dinner, the conversation was polite but strange. I noticed they avoided eye contact a few times. My mother's instinct kicked in, but I brushed it off. Maybe they'd had an argument. Then, halfway through dessert, I decided to finally ask. So, I said with a smile, "When's the wedding? Have you two picked a date yet?" There was silence. Daniel froze, his fork halfway to his mouth. Mia looked at him, then looked down at her plate. My smile slowly faded. Mia took a deep breath, then looked up at me with an awkward smile and said, "We got married yesterday." For a few seconds, I couldn't even process the words. I blinked, thinking maybe I heard her wrong. "I'm sorry, what did you say?" I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. Mia repeated, a little louder this time, "We got married yesterday." The room fell completely silent. I felt my hands tremble slightly. My heart began to pound. Daniel reached out and said, "Mom, please don't be upset. We didn't mean to hide it from you." Didn't mean to hide it. That's exactly what they did. I looked at both of them, struggling to understand. "You got married. Without telling me. Without inviting me." Daniel nodded slowly. "Mom, it wasn't about excluding you. We just wanted something small, private, just the two of us." I tried to smile, but tears filled my eyes. "Private? I'm your mother, Daniel. I carried you for 9 months, raised you, and dreamed of this day. And you didn't think I should be there?" He looked guilty, his voice breaking. "Mom, I know how much it means to you, but we didn't want the stress of planning or a big crowd. We went to the courthouse. It was simple. We wanted to start our life quietly." I looked at Mia, who had tears in her eyes too. "I told him we should tell you first," she said softly. "But he wanted to surprise you later, maybe have a small dinner to celebrate." Surprise me. That word hurt even more. A surprise is flowers or a visit. A wedding, that's something you share with your family, not hide. I excused myself from the table and went into the kitchen. I needed a moment to breathe. I leaned against the counter, feeling a wave of emotions I couldn't control: sadness, confusion, even a bit of anger. I heard Daniel's footsteps behind me. "Mom," he said quietly, "please don't cry." I turned around. How could I not? You know how much I wanted to be part of this moment. He sighed. "Mom, I didn't want to hurt you. I just wanted it to be easy. You know how weddings can turn into a huge event. We didn't have the money or energy for that." I looked at him, realizing that part of me understood. Life isn't easy, and maybe they just wanted peace. But the mother in me couldn't let go of the hurt. "You could have told me," I said softly. "You didn't need a big event. I would have been happy just being there, even if it was just in a small room, watching you both say your vows." He looked down, ashamed. I know, I messed up. I thought I was protecting everyone from stress. But I see now that I hurt you more than I helped. For a long moment, we stood in silence. Then I reached out and hugged him. I could feel him shaking slightly, like the little boy he once was when he thought he disappointed me. You're my son, I whispered. I'll always love you, but please, don't ever shut me out like that again. He nodded, tears in his eyes. I promise, Mom. We walked back to the table, and I looked at Mia. She looked nervous, like she wasn't sure if she should stay. I smiled gently and said, "Welcome to the family." Officially. Her eyes filled with tears as she smiled back. "Thank you," she said quietly. Dinner continued, but it wasn't the same. There was love, but also a bittersweet quiet between us. Later that night, after they left, I sat alone and stared at the empty plates. I thought about how quickly life changes, how children grow up, fall in love, and start new lives without realizing that parents are still holding on to those little pieces of their childhood. The next morning, I woke up and decided not to let the sadness take over. I called Daniel and told him I wanted to take them both out for lunch to celebrate properly. They hesitated, but finally agreed. When I saw them walk into the restaurant, holding hands, smiling, I realized something important. Weddings are just one day, but marriage, that's a lifetime. What mattered most was that my son was happy, that he'd found someone who truly loved him. During lunch, Daniel handed me a small envelope. "We were saving this for you," he said. Inside was a photograph, just the two of them at the courthouse, holding hands, smiling with joy. On the back, Daniel had written, "To Mom, the first woman I ever loved. We didn't mean to leave you out. We just wanted to start our forever. Please forgive us." Tears rolled down my cheeks as I looked at the picture. I smiled and said, "You both look beautiful." Mia reached out and held my hand. "We're planning to have a small celebration next month," she said. "We'd love for you to help us with it." That was all I needed to hear. In that moment, the hurt faded away, replaced by something stronger: love, understanding, and the realization that family isn't about perfect timing. It's about being there for each other, no matter how things happen. Weeks later, I helped them organize a small celebration in our backyard. Just close friends and family. Nothing fancy. I arranged flowers, baked the cake, and even gave a little speech. When I looked at Daniel and Mia standing together, I felt proud, not because of the event, but because they had learned something about honesty and connection. At the end of the evening, as the sun set and soft music played, Daniel hugged me tightly and whispered, "Thank you for forgiving me." I smiled and whispered back, "Always." That night, I realized something every parent eventually learns. The moment you raise your child to be independent, you also raise them to make choices without you. It's painful, but it's also beautiful. They grow up, fall in love, and sometimes stumble along the way. But as long as love remains, there's always a way back to understanding. So yes, when my daughter-in-law said, "We got married yesterday," it broke my heart for a moment, but it also reminded me of something deeper. Life doesn't always go the way we imagine it, but love has a way of healing the gaps that mistakes create. To anyone watching this, if you've ever felt left out, disappointed, or blindsided by the people you love, take a deep breath. Sometimes, it's not betrayal, it's just human imperfection. We all make choices that seem right in the moment. What matters is forgiveness, because that's what keeps families together. So, I forgave my son. I welcomed Mia with open arms. And today, when I look at their wedding photos on my living room wall, I don't feel pain anymore. I feel peace. Because in the end, love always finds its way home. And if this story touched your heart, make sure to subscribe, like, and share. There's always a new story every week about love, family, and the lessons that life quietly teaches us. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.